So welcome to lesson 48. We're going to look at contrary conditions with unless. Unless means a menos que. Contrary clauses express impossibility with only one slight hope in the unless clause. The order is reversible. So the formula is the negative clause and then the unless clause. And you're going to use the indicative present, unlike Spanish, which uses the subjunctive. So let's look at number one. Unless you apply yourself more, you simply won't master English. So you can see that we have indicative here. Number two, he can't get well unless he takes time off from work. And so you can see this is indicative. Number three, they never call their parents unless they need help. And this is indicative. 4. We are going to get fired unless we stop goofing off at work. 5. Unless I get a scholarship, I don't think I'll continue my studies. 6. No one can succeed unless he disciplines himself and works hard. 7. Her trip will be for nothing unless she meets the right people. Okay, so let's look over here. We have time off, that's from work, and then there's time out, that's from play. And then we have parents, which means padres, and it does not mean fathers. It's a neutral term. And then we have relatives, so I put this little box here because I thought that this could be fairly confusing for it. Now let's look at possessive adjectives when they're not in front of nouns. And so we already know that possessive adjectives in front of nouns, we know them. And we must learn that they are longer when they stand alone, just like in Spanish. So when do we say this in Spanish and this and this? Well, when it's not in front of a noun. So same in English. We're going to have mine. The purse is mine. Yours. The backpack is yours. His. The duffel bag was his. Hers. The suitcase is hers. Ours. The box is ours. Theirs. The plastic container is theirs. So we see that the rule for making these longer, just like in Spanish, these possessive adjectives are longer when they're pronouns. Possessive pronouns would be the correct word. So all of them get longer. And in Spanish you add an O and a Y, except with here. So in English you add an S. So you can see there's an S after there. There's an F after our. There's an S after her. And this is the reason why you don't add an S to his, because it already ends in an S. And the rule of pronunciation and spelling is that if you have two S, you're going to have a soft sound. You're going to have the S sound. And so it's actually the Z sound, so you cannot add an S to his. So yours, you add an S. And then mine is just irregular, and there's nothing else to explain about that. All right, very good. In the same pattern, we use the name of the person followed by the apostrophe S. The pen is Mario's. The pen is Mario's. So that would be translated, el lapicero or el bolígrafo es de Mario. Number 15, the pencil is Oscar's. El lápiz es de Oscar. So this, the possessive with the apostrophe S explains how these are lengthened, because it's the same pattern, adding the Z sound at the end. When you have a name that ends with the S sound, you simply add the apostrophe without another S. And this point is debatable. There are different Reader's Digest and different groups that do it differently. So we look at, for example, the briefcase is Charles's. Now I'm going to say twice is Charles's. Charles's. But I'm not going to write it twice because we already have the S sound. Even when it's a Z, it's the same sound. So the laptop is Mr. Gomez's. Mr. Gomez's. So why do I not write an S? Because I already have the Z, which is the same sound. But the apostrophe there is telling me that it's a possessive. And number 18, Mrs. Enriquez's bag of markers is on the desk. Mrs. Enriquez's. Does that sound funny? Enriquez is the name, and then is the possessive, so Enriquez's bag. Even though I would say it quickly, Mrs. Enriquez's bag of markers is on the desk. Did you hear it? Enriquez's. Okay, so you know, you can play it back a number of different times. And again, you know, this is not an everyday occurrence in the language, so if you don't, you know, catch it 100% right now, don't worry about it. Let's look at vocabulary 48. We have 28 words and phrases total to date, 858. Apply oneself. Apply oneself. Past tense, applied. Backpack. Backpack. So you can see it's a paquete que va en la espalda. Briefcase. Briefcase. Call. Call. Past tense, called. Clause. Container. Container. Continue. Continue. Continued. Debatable. Debatable. Discipline. Discipline. Disciplined. Disciplined. Duffel bag. Duffel bag. Fire. Fired. Fire. Get well. And then the past and the participle you already know. Goof off. Goof off. Yeah. Hers. Impossibility. Laptop. So lap is regazo and top is encima de. So this computadora portátil va encima de tu regazo. Master. Mastered. Mine. Ours. Plastic. Purse. Purse. Scholarship. Scholarship. Slight. Slight. Sound. Sound. Sounded. Succeed. Succeed. Succeeded. Suitcase. Suitcase. Theirs. Yours. Yours. Okay, good. So let's look at this box right here. Light and slight. Mild. Alright, so those are very similar words. And then we're going to look at this word, this box, meet. So we probably know the word meet is usually reunir, have a meeting with, tener una reunión o reunirse con, and good to meet you, gusto de conocerte. Yeah, good to meet ya. Now, I'm going to not say meet you, I'm going to say meet ya. Good to meet ya. Good to meet ya. Hey, it's been good to meet ya. Alright, very good. So, that concludes our lesson 48, and I hope you've gotten a lot out of this, and I hope you can study these things and learn these things. If you got any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll be getting back to you as quickly as possible. God bless.